Well, this week I'm going to tick a load of boxes that people have asked for, all in one gun. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air, and this week it's a Springer review. It's a budget review, it's an all-inclusive package review, it's a new product review, and it's a junior rifle review, all in one go. This is the all-new Hammerli Black Force 400 combo. It is, as you would expect, with a name like that, all black with a 480mm barrel. 400, 480. Well, it is all black. Not sure where the 400 part comes from, but I can assure you it isn't the price, because this is a true budget starter rifle, and it is nowhere near the £400 mark. It's actually around £120 UK. And for that money, you really are getting a feature-packed rifle that should give you hours and hours of fun. Let's take a look at a few stats and do the walk around, shall we? It is 111 centimetres or 39 3/4 inches long, according to my tape, and it tips the scales at a pretty lightweight 2.5 kilograms without the included scope, which is £5 8 ounces in old money. And if you pop the scope on, it goes up to 2.81 kilograms or around £6 3 ounces. So you don't have to be some kind of bodybuilder to use this. Hinting perhaps at who this is probably aimed at. From the front then, the 480mm barrel is tipped off at the front with a fibre optic fixed sight that mates up with the rear fully adjustable, also fibre optic rear sight, which is, as I've said, adjustable for distance and windage on a sliding style system. We then come to the main body, which is high quality durable polymer, which is stippled on the forestock, and the grip, it's very nice. This is nicely made and finished off, and it doesn't feel like some mass-produced plastic moulded item that is pressed out of a machine at an amazing rate. It is a quality finish that you would expect from a higher price tagged item. Yes, I know it is mass-produced, but it is well done. The trigger guard is incorporated into the moulding and houses the nicely broad trigger blade, which again is grippy. So, should be using this out and about in the wet or with gloves, you'll have no problems. It is a two-stage trigger, quite a long first, and has a final pull weight of around 4 or 5 pounds. Little on the heavier side, but this is a budget gun. The stock is ambidextrous and is finished off with really nice rubberized butt pad. There is a stud under the rear and a loop at the front for a strap. And there's also a secret compartment under the grip, which reveals a space to maybe put a cleaning cloth or the like. Again, a nice, well thought out, useful feature. Along the top, you will find the branding and a rail for the included 4x32 Hammerli scope. This is a starter scope and shouldn't be judged alongside more expensive items with etched reticles and the latest glass from Japan. It is clear enough and will get you started, and hopefully is simple and effective enough to encourage the younger shooters into our sport, without the need to spend this year's heating bill money for a first starter package. You're starting to get the idea of what I think this is ideally aimed at, getting the juniors involved. It is a Springer break barrel, and whilst not overly heavy or hard to cock, It's probably too hard for the ultra juniors to do it on their own, which is no bad thing in my books, because it means they need to be supervised when shooting. Sure, it's a job for mum or dad, but this makes it a family activity. Again, no bad thing in my eyes. When you do cock the rifle, the safety above the trigger is automatically engaged and will need pushing from left to right to be able to drop into fire mode for you to be able to at least unlock the trigger. Another good idea from a safety point of view, and I like that. You've probably gathered I mainly focus this review as a starter gun, as I've already said, for the younger generation, and is exactly how I started. But it isn't a tiny little thing and is easily usable by adults too. Now, at this point, I would like to add a point to the whole idea of juniors starting into this sport. Please, please, please don't assume I'm talking about young lads or boys, because I'm most definitely not. My time doing this and my time talking to the very kind of people who came over to see me and have a chat at the NEC this year, most of the junior shooters were girls. And when their dads were open and honest, they admitted that they made better shots than the fellas. We really need to encourage them into this sport. I encouraged my girls when they were young, and I'm glad I did. Now, because of the more junior lean of this rifle, I'm expecting this to be a little lower on power than banging up to the 12 foot-pound limit that you would find on a lot of adult Springers. After all, this isn't aimed at pest control. It's about a bit of target work to get them interested and a spot of plinking fun to keep them interested and hopefully enjoying it. So, let's get this 177 caliber Black Force 400 over the chronograph, shall we? By the way, they are only available in 177 caliber. Again, hinting at the target intention. Well, using pretty standard 8.44 grain JSB pellets, it saw 660 feet per second, which is 8.17 foot-pounds or 11.07 joules. These figures were straight out of the box, just as I thought, though, a little lower on power. And again, no bad thing at all. This is focused around safety. Well, with that included scope on top, let's get this out on the range to see what it can do, shall we? Now, with that lower power and lower magnification scope, I think about 25 metres is a nice distance and should be around as big as most people's back gardens, probably. I just know I'm going to get everyone telling me about the length of their gardens after that comment. You get the idea. Anyway, here goes. Here we are. Back in Blighty. Nice summer's day, actually. It's a junior gun. Sort of a junior gun. I prefer to use starter gun because it's actually quite a decent length. It's not just for juniors. And if it is a junior, you're talking a teenager, really. It is the Hammerli Black Force 400. It's a nice piece of kit. It's quite slim. It feels really nice in the hand because it's very grippy stippling that's all over it. Ambidextrous on the stock. Nice rubber stop, as we've already said. There are external sighting aids, but it comes with a little 4x32 scope. I'm not going to turn around and shout that it's the most amazing thing out there, because it isn't. But it's a freebie that's thrown in with it. It's not an expensive kit at around 120 quid, and you've got a bit of a scope. It would probably be the first thing that I'd upgrade if I was doing that. But apart from that, yeah, it's adequate. I wouldn't be shooting it out at 50, 60 metres. Doesn't need it. It won't do it really because it's a smaller power level for shorter distances. And the barrel itself doesn't have a UNF thread on the end, so there's no silencer on it. You're not going to do an awful lot of pest control with it, even if it had that amount of power anyway. But it's a really good gun to get you interested, get you plinking really. Excuse me, I'm going to try and do a bit of target work, which is probably a bit unfair because it's not what you really class as an out-and-out target weapon either. But let's see what it's like. I think it's probably just enough to get a junior member interested in it. And if they like it and they keep doing it, then they're likely to turn around and say, Mum, Dad, I want something better. Yeah, okay, you're going to have to spend some money to get a lot better, but it's a really good starter rifle. Let's have a go down there. I'll take the glasses off because of the scope and see what we get. Excuse me, it is the grouping, don't forget, that we're looking at. Because if I just go to the centre and shoot the centre out, I've got nothing to aim at. So it is just the grouping I'm looking at. Very quickly, just scope dropped on, a little bit of zeroing. It could probably do with a bit more, to be honest, but let's just check the grouping. Here we go. Automatic safety. Little low, that one. Which is the first shot. Somebody's going to have a go at me about that one, leaving the barrel, but there you go. Similar to it, I'll hold on to it. .177 only. Auto safety. Don't think to yourself that you're getting a match grade trigger, because you're not, but what you're getting is a nice broad trigger. It's got a nice feel to it. The first stage is very defined. There you go. It doesn't seem to be doing too badly at all, to be honest. I am actually shooting the QYSs for no apparent reason other than they were what was lying around when I came out of the studio. It's doing it. Can't knock it. Yep, that's my fault. To be honest, there we go. That's, I don't know, half a dozen or so shots downrange out at about 25 metres. It might be a little bit more, to be fair, but 25 metres, calm day. Springer, not my favourite, but I really see, and I started with them, I see the point in them. You need nothing more than go and buy your package like this, a tin of pellets, and you're away. And it's a nice sunny day and you're getting people out into the fresh air. So looking at that target work, yeah, okay, it needs a little bit more setting up on the scope because it was only done very quickly, but it's grouping quite nicely. Certainly you're doing tin can stuff, and to be honest, you know, with a bit of practice and a little bit more fine tuning on the zero, I think you'd be up for the beer bottle top challenge. So literally getting 10 little beer bottle tops, lining them up, and I think you'd crack them all off. I think it's that good at that kind of distance. Yeah, quite impressed. The Hammerli 400, not quite sure where the 400 bit comes in. No doubt somebody will tell me. No doubt the guys at Hammerli will be quite upset that I didn't know, and I do apologise. But not a bad piece of kit at all. Good starter gun, good junior gun, good family gun, really. Yeah. Back to the studio. Well, that is a nice bit of kit, and it's fun to use. I can see most juniors, and grown-ups for that matter, having a thoroughly enjoyable time with this. Don't forget This is aimed at target and plinking, and the power output suits that perfectly. It is nicely light and not over-tiring, and of course you don't need to be buying air tanks, compressors, CO2s or the like just to power this. You just need a few pellets and a bit of elbow grease. I like it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's review, and maybe it's given you a bit of a motivation to get the next generation on board and into our sport. And for the mums watching, with reservations quite possibly, I would say have a go yourself with them, and you may find that you're pretty good yourself and can show the old man how it should be done. Please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, share, click the old alarm bell, take a look at this little lot, continue the chats on Airgun Factory, check out the AAR website for all sorts of links and some of the merchandise. A big thank you, as always, to the guys at Vector Air for getting hold of this for me to review for you guys. The biggest thanks, as always, goes out to you for watching and supporting what we're trying to do here on the channel. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye for now.